Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Class Action Megapark. In the last episode I made this mini golf course where guests actually traverse it on their monster trucks. And in this episode I actually want to start on a new area of the park. I know I'm starting a lot of areas, but we will continue on those areas in future episodes. But I think it will be nice if we already establish some of the themed areas we will have in the park. So, in this episode I actually want to work on this area over here. Now, this area here will have the pirate theme, but this area over here will also have a different theme. Probably the swamp theme, something like that. As I think it will make a good transition from this pirate theme to over here. I mean, both of them have a lot of water, but to transition in between those themes, I think a haunted area will look nice. So over here probably we will have a little bridge leading to this area. And there will be sort of a mansion here, something like that, with some gravestones, the usual. And I have a plan for a really cool spooky coaster here. Well, you've already seen in the thumbnail kind of what will be the gimmick of this coaster. But yeah, I'm excited to make it happen, and as I build it I will show you the tricks that I use to actually make it behave in the way that I want to. Okay, first off, as usual, I will do some landscaping here, just to make a nice entrance into this haunted area that we will have here. Okay, here's a little trick you can use to make these dead trees look more impressive. So you have three variants of these trees, but you can actually place them over each other if you disable clearance checks, and that will give you nicer variants of these trees, which actually have more branches. I really like using this trick, and I think it will definitely help just to get a little bit more variety in your trees. Another tree that I really like to use is the Japanese snowball tree. We have it included in our bench here. If you disable support limits and clearance checks, you can actually place these underground, and they make for great dead bushes. They're a great way to decorate areas with shrubbery, especially if you use this sand floor, for example. Okay, I will now start on the coaster that I want to build here. And the station of the coaster will be in sort of a mansion, but that will be built a bit later on. Now, for this coaster, it will probably look like a normal coaster to you in the beginning, but later you'll see what tricks I have up my sleeve. Alright, what you can see here is a typical aero coaster layout. Well, it's slightly condensed because I don't have a lot of space here. I don't want to build the coaster right on the edge. So that's why I decided to have this corkscrew actually go over the track here, over the first drop. Like I already mentioned, this is not a normal aero coaster. I actually want it to behave in a different way. So yeah, let's just do whatever I wanted to do. So first, I'm gonna put it in shuttle mode. And let's make sure that this piece of track over here is the lower one, so we know the coaster will take this. Now, what shuttle mode does is whenever a powered vehicle reaches the end of a track, it will then reverse in negative direction. Now, because there's a piece of track here at the end where the coaster ends, if it's a powered vehicle, then it will move forward here, and then it goes backwards again, and then go on through the rest of the track in a backwards direction. And it will never reach a track end anymore, so it will always traverse this track in a backwards direction. So yeah, I think this will be actually be a pretty cool way to let the coaster go through this track, and definitely something people will not expect. Now, of course, the corkscrew coaster train is not actually a powered train, so we'll have to do something about that. So first, I will just spawn a train, and then we're going to turn it into a powered vehicle. Okay, here's our train. Fits nice. It fits nicely into the station. Now, I will actually make it one longer. Then we're going to go in the right vehicle editor, and the first vehicle I'm going to turn it into a mine train, but one from the mine ride. There we go, powered mine trains. Actually, this is not the one I want, but I'll take note of these values. So acceleration is 130, max speed 65. We're gonna use these values later as well for our coaster. I actually want the front of the train to be invisible and not visible like this one. So 130, 65. Going to change it into sports cars. So now there's a car here in front. We want to make this invisible. So let's change the variant. So now it's variant 1. If you don't know, sports cars, like a car ride, the first vehicle and last vehicle are actually always invisible, and only the second vehicle is the visible one, like a car. Anyway, with that, our corkscrew coaster now has a powered vehicle in front. So let's now change the values to what they were on the mine ride. Okay, I will move it backwards slightly, so the front of the train is where the front of the train is actually where the front of the first visible vehicle is. In the second vehicle, I'm gonna change it into the variant which has the front, the aerodynamic train, like this. Okay, with that done, let's give the ride a quick test to see if it works. Okay, it reaches the front here, then it goes backwards again. Now it does go to the front of this station, so maybe I'll have to change the layout of these stations a little bit. But now it should go through the rest of the track in a backwards fashion. Now I should probably disable some of these chain lift pieces, because this is where the coaster will actually get slowed down. I mean, it travels backwards now and the chain lift wants to push it up, so that will probably give some issues. You can see it just traverses these loops normally. It even makes it up the hill quite nicely here. But yeah, as I already expected, the chain lift here is actually stopping the train from reaching the top. So I'll just put some fake chain lift pieces over here. Alright, the problem with this setup is that the train cannot be in station 1 and station 2 at the same time, or else it will get stuck here. So I will try to just extend this section over here with the station and the brake section. I will just cover it up fully, and then I should be able to fit 2 full-size stations in here. So I will probably just have to redo this last section here with the helix, just to make this straight section here a bit longer. And then I should be able to make the ride work in a nice way, without having the train wait here in this section for guests to enter. Okay, I think the layout of the coaster is now finished. Now, as for the chain lift of the coaster, as you can see, I use some multi-dimension coaster track here for to make a catwalk. For the corkscrew coaster track itself, only this piece here at the bottom actually has a chain lift on it. The reason for that is, the coaster will gain quite some speed when going down here, and I want it to brake a little bit before it actually goes around this curve here, which is unbanked. That little piece of chain lift actually slows down the train here and makes sure that the lateral G-forces don't get out of hand here at the bottom. And that actually makes it so that the coaster actually has a fairly decent rating here, and probably a lot of guests will actually come to ride this coaster. Okay, I've done the coaster. Now it's time to do some landscaping around it. I kind of also want to do some custom supports for this loop. I should be able to fit in some nice ones here. So I'll try my hand at that first, and after that gonna make the coaster look nice. Okay, what I'm doing here is I just made some diagonal track pieces here, and if you copy and paste a diagonal track piece like this one, for example, now we have a diagonal track piece here that I copied and pasted, but it will only be visible from one angle, and that's actually a great way to make supports exactly the way you want. And I can just make them look nice from every angle, and yeah, that will definitely help out with making them look nice for these loops. And because these supports are only visible from one angle, I can put them here on every tile that I want. I could even, for example, put them here. And just move them up. And then it would look like they are connected to this piece here, for example. And that way you can put them in front or to the back of any other objects that you would like. Now, for example, I would like this support to actually go over here, over this track. So yeah, that's definitely possible with these diagonal track pieces. The downside to this method is that you have to do it for every angle, since all the supports are only visible from one angle. Now, you could also see I made this suspended monorail here, and the reason I also use suspended monorail is mostly because especially from this angle here, the suspended monorail just has a little bit more depth to it, so it just looks a lot nicer. Okay, I've made some custom support now for these loops. Now they do look a little bit wonky in places. They do look a little bit shorter than other places, but yeah, you can often easily just hide this by just placing some trees or other decorations around that. So that's what I'm going to do here as well, and that will make them look much more uniform. Alright, we're now quite far underway with this mansion, which is also the station for the coaster. And as you can see, lots of detailing here, especially on the front. I really like these two-door windows. They really help to give depth to your building. Something else which I actually don't use very often is these trees from the Creepy set. But they work really well when you bury them. And yeah, I think I love the way yeah, they give sort of like a darker vibe to this mansion, and they work greatly here in front of this building. Yeah, I'm just going to continue working on this mansion for now. I really want to finish it up in this episode, and now for that I'm going to do some quick decorating here on the area around the coaster. Probably just going to make lots of gravestones, a hilly landscape, stuff like that. Okay, I think the manor is now pretty much completed. No, I'm quite happy with it. It was a lot of work to make this, but I think in the end it all came together. It's always quite a challenge to make an interesting looking roof, but yeah, I think I managed it in the end. Alright, what I'm going to do now first is yeah, try to cover up these the lower portion of these supports a bit. And after that, I'm quickly going to decorate this area with the gravestones and other creepy stuff. Alright, I think that's enough building for me for today. I think for this episode we should add another patron to the park, so that's what I will do now. And I think this graveyard will be a great spot to for someone to roam. Alright, and this entertainer will be named Savvy Adam. Savvy Adam is walking on the graveyard. I don't know, maybe he's robbing the graves, or maybe he's the gravekeeper. It's up for Savvy Adam to decide. So yeah, most of these supports have now been covered up, their ends at least. So yeah, it doesn't really show anymore that some are shorter than others, etc. So I think that will that actually makes these supports for the loops look quite nice. I should probably name them. Okay, and this one multi-dimension coaster. We should probably call it Catwalk. Okay, now for this coaster, I actually call it the corkscrew Mansion. Corkscrew is just corkscrew reversed, and that's because this coaster actually goes backwards, of course. Okay, yeah, I already said this is enough building for me for today. I'm quickly going to make this cube path invisible and replace it with something else. Alright, yeah, that's just something I had to get out of the way. I think for the rest of this episode it will be fun to take a ride with this coaster as it travels along the track. Alright, I hope you enjoyed watching me build. I really liked how this area became. And I'll see you again in the next video. See you later.